Basic Universal Lessons by LisaR. The Anti-Life Society has been founded upon having no value or purpose for human existence, except to monetize and abuse it for instant self-gratification. Those behind the agenda have no remorse for the power abuses that result in the profound suffering of humanity. Although we live in challenging times, we must choose what kind of person we want to be, and understand that developing personal integrity that aligns to a positive value system is essential to becoming a stable, clear, and trustworthy person. We don't have to unconsciously act out the slave mentality that the controllers have socially engineered and implanted in us if we are willing to wake up to see what's really happening in our world. Ascension essentially encompasses a universal perspective towards the compassionate practice of world humanism, which includes the entire spectrum of life, all the inhabitants of the world, no matter what race, religion, belief, or creed, to be equally deserving of benevolence, empathy, and compassion. We can work towards embodying these higher goals that guide our behavior throughout our personal sphere of influence, which then spreads out to others. There are basic moral principles that represent the wisdom of human experience that are so widely held that they can be thought of as universal principles that can be applied to everyone, everywhere right now. When we include these principles as moral guidelines that instruct our behaviors in life, they protect us as well as others around us. In this way, we are being of service to align with humanity first, so that we are not being manipulated to place blame conveniently on others, knowing we all have been subjected to forms of consciousness enslavement. We've all been lied to many times over. Remembering this, we can have more compassion for our brothers and sisters in pain when they are acting out unconsciously and being used as dark portals. Intend to do good in the world, avoid evil and harm. To develop the power of virtues within the human spirit, there is a constant commitment to do good works in the world through one's behaviors and actions. All other moral principles flow from this basic concept that most of us know in our heart if we are willing to listen to what is good and what is evil and constitutes great harm. The Golden Rule, do unto others. The Golden Rule is the most essential basis for the modern concept of human rights, in which each individual has a right to just treatment and a reciprocal responsibility to ensure justice for others. The Golden Rule is an ethical code or moral truth that essentially states one should treat others as one would like to be treated by others. It is commonly referred to as do unto others. This concept describes a two-way relationship between oneself and others that involves both sides equally and in a mutual benefit or win-win fashion. The end does not justify the means. Essentially, this means that one cannot commit a series of knowingly fraudulent and dishonest acts, even if it was purportedly done for an honorable cause. One may not commit harm or evil thinking that, in the end, goodness may result from these harmful actions. This means that we must look towards fundamental principles and structures that are designed for promoting good works and align to the actions that are essential to creating those conditions. One cannot justify violating the fundamental principles of the original intention, because you believe that the outcome will result in some imagined positive goal. When we compromise our personal integrity, we allow a backdoor vulnerability for dark force manipulation that many times descends even more darkness and chaos into the situation where we had made the compromise. Follow natural law. By observing nature and making decisions that respect the nature of things throughout creation, we learn to follow what nature intends. When we live in harmony with the natural laws, we live in harmony with ourselves. If we violate the natural laws, we suffer greatly. At its most basic level, the science of right living is essentially understood as this: when we live in harmony with ourselves and others, we are living in harmony with the universal laws, and this drastically increases the quality of life for everyone. As an example, the law of one practices are a science of right living given to human beings. To receive more love, we must become more loving. Please only take what is useful for your spiritual growth and discard all the rest. Thank you for your courage and bravery to be a truth seeker. I am God, sovereign, free. With a loving heart, LisaR.